Hi, this is Katie McLaughlin, founder and chief strategist at McLaughlin Method. I had a recent client who was struggling after a blown up conversation with an employee about their performance review and subsequent impact on their leveling and their pay. And so I want to break down some of the challenges that we have about the performance review process. So if we think about this less about a checkbox activity and more about what is the purpose of a performance review, almost all the time, people might think of performance reviews as a way to get more pay, look at promotions, talk about new opportunity. And it's because of that we take on these roles that we feel like we have to in order to influence that. Now, let me elaborate. So, if I'm a manager, and depending on the way your company handles performance reviews and compensation increases, you might have a quota. You might have a cap of how much you are allowed to increase people's levels, increase their salary. And so you're probably looking at this maybe 10 or more employees and trying to figure out who has earned the compensation that you are allowed to dole out. And that's going to influence your performance reviews. So you're no longer approaching this performance review from the perspective of how can I help this person to develop so that they want to stay? How can I see what opportunities I need to give this person? And how can I give them what they need so that way they contribute more to the company and the team as a whole? Now, I use theater as one of my primary facilitation techniques because embedded in all of that is a ton of emotion that drives the way we show up in these conversations and the way that we write our performance reviews. So if I'm feeling like I have to figure out how I'm going to balance all of this money that I have or what little money I have, I might be thinking or creating an image that would express something like, right? Or maybe I'm going to, right? And there might be a sound that goes with it. Maybe I would create an image like this, right? Or I might create an image of like, all right, or, there might be all kinds of images, and there's embedded in that is a tentativeness, a stress, a tension that would all come into and influence the language that we use in performance reviews and the way we talk to our employees. We might also approach it from a perspective of like a critical perspective, a critical eye, right? When in reality, the role of performance reviews is, again, to create that as a part of an employee experience, as part of how somebody feels about working at your company. You want to actually be coming from a perspective of, and that might be an openness, of a teaching, right? A helping, of a come along kind of perspective, right? There's all kinds of different choices that you could make. And maybe even there's a curiosity, a aha, kind of perspective. If you come at it from that perspective, you're going to better approach those performance reviews with a clean slate and a level of honesty where you won't feel like you have to be the one that kind of lets someone down and decreases the contributions through the words and actions that you portray in both the writing and the communication in performance reviews. If you're starting to feel like you are unprepared for performance review conversations as you go to write your performance reviews, and even in dealing with the complex reactions you might have to the ways that people might show up in your conversations, reach out. I do one-on-one coaching and group work with teams, and I'd be glad to work with you and talk through how we can do this, and we'll work through using our bodies and emotions to really get at the heart of what the challenges are so you can feel more confident as you step into these conversations.